What's going on, everyone? It's Adam and Craig with Grandstand Golf. This is our PGA DFS sleepers for the 2021 Masters. Again, before we head to Augusta, Craig, a little bit of accountability. How did Valero Texas Open sleepers do for us? So 6 sleepers, 3 of them made it through the cut, and they just happened to be all your sleepers.
Yeah, so I don't know if we should just skip over your picks this week or...
No, let's talk about it. I had Patia. He missed with 2 bogeys coming in, and I had Sloan, who missed on the number. +3 kind of killed me this week for both my picks and my sleepers. So I'm going to wear that one. Hey, that's on me. But I know my sleepers will make it up and have made it up in the past. So I feel okay about it.
Some weeks it's you, some weeks it's me. I'm just saying that this week, just listen to my picks. My picks are awesome coming up here.
Yeah, this is a pretty big week. We got the Masters. If you haven't already, subscribe to our channel. Follow us on Twitter at Grandstand Golf. Not everything comes on YouTube, so follow us on Twitter. That's where we put out additional content to what we have on YouTube, of course. But Craig, our sleeper show, it's under 7,500 on DraftKings. Should we just jump into it?
Yeah, let's get started. We've got all the other previews out. Go check out everything else if you want to hear us talk a lot about the Masters. We're just going to get right into sleepers under 7,500.
Yeah, you bet. First one for me, Jason Day, 7,500. I'm going right to the top. He ranks 28th on DraftKings. On FanDuel, I couldn't do it. 9,800. He's 23rd there. I just think Jason Day, with his kind of recent, flashes, a little bit of consistency, and then his form at Augusta make him a sleeper that I'm targeting. But it's inconsistency of late. He has 5 straight cuts made. 2 of those are top 20. So not great finishes, but making 5 cuts in a row is pretty good for what we've seen from Jason Day lately. His history at the Masters, though, is exceptional. So he's played 10 events, 8 cuts made, 7 top 25s, and 3 top 3s. So 7 of 10 times he's making the top 25. That's value on DraftKings right there. And 3 times he's made the top 3. So he does going to get those flashes of brilliance. His stroke gain around here, 35 rounds, quite a big sample size, is 1.9. For everyone that's played at least 2 Masters, so minimum 6 rounds, he ranks 9th in the entire field for his stroke gain total around Augusta National. And then finally, just kind of a holistic look at his season so far, his 2020-2021 season. He ranks positive in every stroke gain category. It's not great. Some of them are a little bit low, close to 0, but it is positive in every category. We know he's pretty good around the greens. I just like a good veteran that plays the course well. I like Jason Day.
Yeah, I think Jason Day is also one of these ones we have to look at. The harder that this plays, I think the better a Jason Day is going to do. This is a little bit different. All 3 of the guys I'm going to be looking at here, they're young, they're very good ball strikers, but a Jason Day, like if this course plays hard and you need to be missing in the right spots and then getting up and down, Jason Day is going to be an absolute steal, I think, at 28th in pricing.
Yeah.
So speaking of it, I'm going to jump into my first one here. Joaquin Niemann, 7,400. He's 30th on DraftKings, 9,600, 26th on FanDuel. So to me, this is just, it's an upside play. I think the form and just the talent level is so much better than his price. He's likely going to be chalky, but I got to bring him up in case you don't already know about him. Last 3 months, he's 9th in the field in terms of strokes gained total, gaining almost 2. That carries out if you look at 6 months. And even if you look at 12 months, he's 19th in the field in strokes gained total. So we're getting him at 30th in pricing. I think a lot of that is because he has so little experience here. So if you do believe that people can show up here, the chance of him showing up here and winning, those are very, very, very small. But the chance of him showing up here and maybe a top 10, top 15, something like that, I think it's better than his pricing. So that's what I'm looking at. If you look at 2 years, all of a sudden it falls. It's still over a stroke gain total, but he's still value there. It's 24th in the field. We're talking about a guy that's 22 years old. He turned 22 in November. So, we're stretching back until he's very, very young when we're looking at 2 full years of strokes gain total data. As far as recently, he's got 14 starts. His last 14 starts, not a single missed cut. He has 12 top 30s in that time. So again, we're looking at him 30th in pricing. 12 of his last 14 starts, he's been in the top 30.
Yeah.
In that time, he's got 3 top 3s. This is one of these people who can pop. He can get up there right to the very top of leaderboards. We saw him miss in the runner-up in the playoff at Tournament of Champions against Harris English. Yeah. So, we know he can compete. We know he can compete on big boy golf courses. The concerning things, though, limited major experience. He was 23rd, tied for 23rd at the 2020 US Open. Not a great history at majors outside of that, but again, he's so young that like
Yeah.
what are we really looking at? We're looking at he has a previous Masters. This was 2018.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're talking about what, an 18-year-old at the Masters? Yes, it was a miscut. To me, though, that it's an experience. He has been here before. He's played practice rounds here before. I look at that as a positive as opposed to if he was coming here for the first time.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I think it's going to be interesting to see how these guys who had their first Masters in November, they have a certain idea what they think the course is going to play. Apparently, it's very different when we get to the spring. So his Masters experience in 2018 is going to be a lot similar to, these guys that are coming back for a second time this year, having played just a couple months or 6 months ago, let's say. The other thing too is, like you said, we like to find all these trends for like finding the winner at Augusta. They've played here before. They have this major experience, whatever it is. But when we're looking at sleepers, a top 10 is great for somebody that's priced 7,400, and that's what you're looking for Joaquin Niemann. Those stats you said, he's just value when you can cross compare it to how he's played and his recent results. He's just straight value.
Yep, that's what I think. I think it's also upside to me. These all three of my picks are really good ball strikers, and they're probably not as safe maybe as some of the other plays.
Yep.
But I do think they have tons of upside because they're ball striking.
And you can't fill out a DFS lineup with six, winners that fit all your criteria. You got to fill in these guys that, can pop, but also, maybe they don't have a great chance of winning, but a top 5 would be great.
Yeah.
I'm going a little bit different direction. I'm going with another Aussie, Marc Leishman. I'm going under 7,000 for my next two picks here, Craig. I'm kind of scraping the bottom of where I think I'm going to play. So Marc Leishman, 6,900 on DraftKings. He's 41st there. On FanDuel, 8,700, 42nd. You went with a guy that's pretty new to all this. Marc Leishman has some experience. But I think, coming out of the COVID break, he was not playing well at all. It was really, really, really bad. I think at Masters last year, and then with 2021, he kind of turned a corner a little bit. So he's played 27 competitive rounds in 2021. He's been positive strokes in total in 20 of those. So I think that's a pretty good key that, he's playing pretty well. And if we drop down to the last point here, his rankings, past 3 months on Data Golf, he ranks 31st strokes in total at plus 1.13. Again, compare that to his price. I think that's pretty good. But 16th in strokes gained approach at plus 0.67. I think that's probably the most important indicator. Putting can be good around the green, off the tee, but I think approach is really the most consistent one we can find, especially for Augusta. Now, looking at his history at Augusta, 8 events played, 5 cuts made, 2 top 10s. It's not as good as someone like Jason Day, but he does have plenty of experience here in different conditions. His strokes in total over 26 rounds is 1.17. But when you break that into just the last 3 tournaments, so his last 12 rounds at Augusta National, he's positive in 10 of them. So again, with these kind of veterans, when you play here a few more times, you kind of learn some tricks how to get around this golf course and not necessarily pop for 400 or 500 rounds, but you know how to kind of consistently beat the field. And I kind of feel like that's what Marc Leishman can do this week.
Yeah, so Leash, I'm not sure on. I think he has been a bit of an enigma over the past year. We saw some very not his best form through the summer,
Yes.
And then it sounds like, if you talk to him, he or in interviews, he was saying that he thinks he's kind of simplified things and figured some things out. I have not done my deep dive yet on Leishman, so I'll get back to you on Wednesday whether or not I'm going to play him. I would say, compared to the guys that I'm throwing out here, Leishman is going to be have much less ownership. So
Yeah.
if you are looking at very highly owned guys up top, Leishman is a great guy to look at to potentially team up with them.
Yeah, and around his price point, we have Corey Connors, Jason Kokrak, Brian Harmon, all that I think might be a little bit popular for different reasons. And Marc Leishman kind of just sneaks in there as kind of like the boring veteran play,
Yeah. Okay, my next one. Speaking of boring veterans, speaking of young, exciting up-and-comers, I'm going Will Zalatoris, 7,300. He's 32nd on DraftKings, 9,200, 32nd as well on FanDuel. if you're a regular watcher of our show, you could probably skip ahead. I talk about Will Zalatoris all the time, but it's Masters Week. There's going to be a lot of people that don't pay attention all the time, and they need to know about Will Zalatoris. So essentially, this guy's played his way from the Korn Ferry Tour onto the PGA Tour during the season, just with his results. You look at what he's done, his strokes gain totals over the last 3, 6, and 12 months. All of those are value to me. They're not as high as you would think over the last 3 and 6 months, but his results have been so consistent. So you look at 12 months, he's gaining 1.4 strokes essentially. That's 20th in the field. So I like that. I like his long-term consistent production.
That would include some Korn Ferry events along the way, right?
So these are from Data Golf, and they do take the different tours. So it does include Korn Ferry Tour events. He had a string of crazy high finishes there, and they give those a modifier. They bump down what you're actually getting, but then they combine it into the PGA Tour samples. So really, last 13 starts. So this is including the U.S. Open, and since then he's got a single missed cut, 11 top 30s. So 11 out of 13, it looks like we're getting pretty good value for where he's priced. 5 top 10s. So, that's over a third of the time he's getting into the top 10. I just love the value there. The thing about Will Zalatoris, and one of the reasons I'm so high on him, this is a point I always come back to. He does well, he does at a very elite level the things that the best golfers do. So this is why I think he has absolute star potential. He's an elite ball striker. This is over the past 12 months. His tee to green is 1.76. That's 4th in this field. His approach play, on approach, he's gaining over a stroke around. That's second behind only Justin Thomas. So it's just the absolute sky's the limit with Will Zalatoris. He has very limited Masters or major experience. This is his first Masters, first time at Augusta National. He does have the U.S. Open. He's had 2 U.S. Open starts. One was quite a while back. I don't know whether it was as an amateur or not. But then this year he had the U.S. Open start, and he was tied for 6th. So he is someone that I think can show up with the game he has, figure out the course, and do well. If he's a tied for 6th here, it wouldn't surprise me. I think it would be awesome, but it wouldn't surprise me just because he has that much game.
Basically, what I'm hearing from you is plug in Niemann, plug in Zalatoris, and you're guaranteed 2 top 30s.
Yeah, you plug in these 2 guys, and you're basically guaranteed to cash, I would say. No, that is I take that back. I will not put any guarantees on anything.
No, I think it's interesting because, there's always a hesitation of playing first timers at Augusta National. I think that is a little bit warranted, but Zalatoris has broken through every single kind of barrier that's been placed in front of him for the past 12 months. He got a special temporary membership, and then he cracked into the top 50 without even he's not even a PGA Tour member. He got the special, he's earned every single thing with his results. So it would not surprise me that he shows up to Augusta National, gets, some experience in the practice rounds, and then comes firing with the top 20, top 15.
Yeah, it's just sort of methodical in terms of his rise through golf. It's not like he had the one big breakthrough win. It's just every time he comes out, he seems to kind of take that next half step forward, and then it's just plodding. It's relentless, I would say. Anyways, I better stop talking about Will Zalatoris before we go another 2.5 hours.
My third and final sleeper, I think this is probably, I haven't for sure yet, but I think this is probably kind of the bottom that I'm going to go with Lanto Griffin at 6,400 on DraftKings. He ranks 60th there. I think a great value. On FanDuel, even better, 7,900, 63rd there. I think he just kind of has, again, the ball striking, the stats, and the consistency to kind of be better than where he's currently ranked. So 2021 consistency, 10 events. He has 4 top 25s, but only 1 missed cut. When we're getting this low, we're looking for guys to make the cut. That's the first and foremost. And Lanto has been doing that, and doing that in pretty good events as well.
Yep.
His ranks over the past 3 months, again, from Data Golf, he ranks 14th in strokes gained approach at 0.69. I love that stat. I've been saying it on our pick show and our sleeper show. Good ball striking coming in, I think, is essential. He is 40th in strokes gained total of 0.95. His putter has been being really well. He ranks 20th on our Grandstand Golf DFS model. If you haven't seen that yet, the link is below. That is on our website. Craig's special model will figure out who's the best fit for this course. But I think most importantly, when you cross compare that to his DraftKings price, he ranks 3rd in cost adjusted value. So he's just one of the, I think the first one is Will Zalatoris. Is that right?
I'm
cost
pretty
adjusted.
sure I'd have to look at it, but I do think he's right up there, if not.
Yeah. So there's he's behind him, but cost adjusted value, I don't know if you can find much better than Lanto Griffin at 6,400.
And the other
He
thing I would say on to that, the model just uses PGA Tour stats.
yeah,
So Lanto Griffin will actually have a much larger sample size. So you would think that the value there is even more impressive than a Will Zalatoris.
yeah, for sure. Finally, he did play here in 2020. He missed the cut. It wasn't a good showing. He's written for the Players Tribune. He's talking about his jitters and how bad he wanted to get to Augusta, like how everything has been building up for here. He's there in November. It's a different course. He didn't play well. I think that's out of the way now. You've been here. You've gone through that first experience. The jitters, the goosebumps of coming down Magnolia Lane. You can kind of move past that. And I think he can just show up this year and just play. He's playing well 2021. He can come into Augusta and he can play his game. And I think a made cut is good, but he can pop for top 40, top 30, top 20. I mean, that's how high he can go, I think.
Yeah, I think to me it's great value with Lanto. I do think he potentially has less, say, even than Leishman, who I think will be very low owned at 69. I think he probably has less like potential top 5, top 10
Sure. Yeah.
because he is more, I think he's super consistent, and I think he's consistently value at 6,400 here. So I think I'm likely going to end up with, it's just such an attractive price. Like it lets you do
Yeah.
so many things with your lineup. Now the one caution I would have, he is a little bit of a DFS darling. He's oftentimes, I think, low priced and value. So people
Yeah.
that have had continued success putting him in lineups and building lineups because he's so cheap, he might be a little bit higher on because of that.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. You don't not guaranteed a kind of a sleeper play here that's going to be low owned. I think he could be of these guys probably under 6,500. We'll call it one of the chalkiest, if
Yeah,
not
yeah,
chalkiest
for sure.
option.
But with good reason.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay, my last one here, last one for our sleepers. I'm going with our Canadian boy, Corey Connors.
I like it.
6,900 on DraftKings. He's 41st in pricing, 8,900, 39th over on FanDuel. His form is awesome. So you look at his last 3 months, he's 13th in this field, 171 he's gaining per round. It continues when you look at 6 months. He's still basically 1.7, 14th in this field in strokes gained total. And then it does start to fall off when you look at 12 months and 2 years, but it's still good. So essentially,
Yeah.
I feel like I like the long-term value enough, and then his recent momentum, it just gives me cause to like the play for Corey Connors here. Last 13 starts, he's got a single missed cut, 9 top 20s, so that's 9 of 13 starts he's been top 20, and then 5 of 13 in the top 10. So he's just been so consistent. And if you don't know anything about Corey Connors, he's not the longest off the tee,
Right.
but he is an awesome ball striker. He is
Yeah.
he is so like I mean he's one of these people you watch their swing. It's a little bit maybe like Fred Couples, Ernie Els. It's easy and it just looks so repeatable.
But it gets me nervous because it's so long at the top of his backswing. I feel like he should like come down like Robin, like just
It's just so
but it's
long and
long
smooth.
fluid.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing, so he's an elite ball striker. We've spoken about this a lot before. His off the tee and approach numbers are awesome. The putter can be shaky. So the surprising thing to me is if you look over his past 6 months, he's actually gaining about a quarter of a stroke putting, which I guess also lines up with how good his play has been of recent, because it's not like the ball striking's changed. It's just what had been very much his weakness, he is shoring up. And I love that. We did see him in the Masters in the fall. I think that maybe the cautionary aspect of this is potentially, as you were saying earlier, the conditions are going to be very different. He's going to be hitting into a lot firmer greens. Because he's such a good ball striker, and that is the strength of his game. Was his 10th place finish in the fall a little bit because you could just go at pins, because you could hold fairways easier and all of that? I'm not thinking so. I think it's more just he's in really good form right now. He's a great ball striker. I'm going to take the chance that that's going to translate into the firm and fast conditions that we're going to have this week.
Yeah, I like Corey Connors. He's going to find a way into some of my lineups almost for sure. I don't know if you can find much. When you get under 7,000, it's hard to find ball strikers this elite, and he's just playing exceptionally right now. The two cautionary things I would say, yeah, the Masters in November, maybe that is kind of a mirage. I don't know that he can back that up, you know. His good Masters performance, plus how he's hitting the ball, plus his price, it will drive ownership.
And I think
kind of
especially the recent performance, like he has done well. He has been in top 10s recently. I think he'll be probably potentially the highest owned guy under 7,000.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I think so. That's our 6 sleepers, Craig. We go into depth into the entire field live on our DFS show Wednesday night, 9:30 p.m. Eastern. Make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss that. Ring the bell so you know when we're going to come live. We're going to go through all our sleepers, our ownership percentage, who we're pivoting, who we're playing, all that kind of good stuff.
And I should say on that note, though, we already have gone through the whole field once. We did our A to Z show. That's just, we did less of, I think, a DFS slant on it. So the live show, we go through everything. We talk about who we're planning to play, and we look at everything more from the DFS angle.
Yeah. Hit that thumbs up. And last thing, call your shot. Let us know your favorite sleeper under 7,500 on DraftKings. Good luck this week. We'll see you again soon.
If you don't call your shot now, then don't come to us whining about one of our picks not doing well. Call your shot now and then be like, yeah, I told you this person was going to outperform. So, it gives you that right to be able. It's like voting. You can't complain about who was elected if you didn't vote. So do your thing. Call your shot.
I like it. Good luck this week. We'll see you again soon.
Yeah, good luck, guys. Yeah.